our workshop on creativity, how it works. So we're going to mostly be talking about your brain, but we'll be talking about other things too. There we go. Okay, so I get this question all the time. People are like, what is creativity? What does it mean? The dictionary version is right here. It means to use the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work. It doesn't always have to be art, it would be creative. And then I always get this question too. Do we have to have a talent for creativity? No, you don't. There's no such thing as talent. Let's see if I have a, nope. Okay. And this should be answers popping up here. Apparently. Ah, there they are. Because talent refers to a physical attribute. Most people don't know that. Most people think that talent is like if you can paint really well, that's a talent. That's a skill. A talent is a physical attribute, like if you could run the 100-yard dash in like 10 seconds. That's a talent because that's a physical thing that your physical body can do that other physical bodies cannot. Creativity, everybody can do. It's not a talent. And I know people argue with me all the time about this, but it's not, I promise. Okay, and they also say, well, I'm not creative at all. Yeah, you are, because it comes from the right side of your brain. And that's where all your creativity lives, and it's already there. It's been living there for years. It's just a matter of getting to it. And then how do we get to it? Is I have little exercises to help you access the right side of your brain. And the reason most people think they are not creative or they have no talent or any of that is because they have never really done a lot of accessing of the right side of their brain. The left side of your brain is what's going right now for me. The left side is having a lovely time because I'm talking. Talking is the left side of your brain. And when the left side's on, the right side's waiting. Because the right side doesn't talk. So now we're going to look at your brain a little bit. Whee, here's your brain, upside down. So your brain looks like, we were talking about pecans, it looks more like a walnut. And if I chopped off the top of your head and we looked inside, you'd see two halves, here and here, and then a little connecting thing down the middle. And that's what your brain looks like from the top without anything on it. And your left side of your brain controls your right hand. So most people that are right-handed, unless they've been accessing the right side of the brain for a long periods of time, use more of their left side of the brain. Lefties use a little bit more of the right side of the brain, but that's not always, I've had people say, well, if you're left-handed, you're going to be really good at art. That's not necessarily true because the left side controls the hand, but it doesn't necessarily controls the way what you're thinking. And if you talk a whole lot in your left side and you're left-handed, it's just bouncing right back over to the left side. So, there we go. Now, the left side of your brain and your right side of your brain have separate functions. Some things overlap, but like the left side is specialized in these things. The right side is specialized in these things. However, the right side of your brain can do everything the left side of your brain can do. Not as well, but it can do it. But the left side of your brain cannot do anything the right side of the brain can do. And so, therefore, people that get, whacked in the head on the left side and they can't talk, they eventually learn to talk again. because the right side makes up for it. But if you get smacked in the head and you no longer can see three-dimensional space, which is what happens on the right side, it's gone. It's not coming back because the left side can't help you. The right side is where all your genius and your imagination and your creativity all live over there on the right, in your right mind. The left brain, that's your talking, your timekeeping, your working with symbols, simple math, all that kind of thing is on the left side. And it's important because you need that. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, this one is not open. This one's working. Okay, here's a bigger version. Okay, right now my left side, this is the left mode, which left side is having, like I said, a field day because I'm talking, and the left side loves to be dominant, just loves it. My left side wants to stay on all the time, and it stays on all the time as long as I'm talking. If I stop talking and start drawing or something, I shift over to the right. Left side does not like that, okay? It's a jealous side. It wants its time all the time. It doesn't want to give any up to the other side. So the left side figures out step-by-step things. Like, you know, well, 1, I'm going to do this, and 2, I'm going to do that, and 3, that's the left-sided thing. Symbols, happy faces, stick figures, flying alphabet M's and W's in the sky. That is your left brain trying its hardest to draw. It can't draw, it can only make symbols. It can take a small piece, like a little piece of something, and say, oh, I see that's an eye. That's part of, you know, that's, if I see the whole picture, that's part of an eye. It can take small things and recognize, you know, that's abstract thing, that they're part of a larger thing. Keeping track of time. If you're a very right-sided person, which I am, you're late a lot. I don't keep track of time well at all. Rational decisions, drawing conclusions from facts. That's left side. Counting, using simple math. Left side. Drawing conclusions based on logic. Left side. Linear thinking, you know, straight down the line. Well, if I do this, then this will happen, then this will happen. That's all left side, which is not good. It's good. But like I said, the more you use the left side, the stronger it becomes. And the more it blocks you from using the right. The right side is totally nonverbal. My right side is just sitting there right now. It has nothing to do other than to daydream. It's totally nonverbal. Everything's images. So if you're daydreaming while I'm talking and you're off in your own little world, you're off in the right side of your brain. And I was a terrible daydreamer in school. Putting things together to form wholes, puzzles, are a very right brain activity. Being able to put all those pieces together and not, especially if you don't know what the picture is. That's really good. Relating to things as they are at the present time. Like saying, okay, I'm here right now. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm not thinking about what I just did. I'm in the present. Analogic, seeing likenesses between things and relationships. This is a big one for if you're drawing or painting. Being able to see things that are close to each other, relationships, this overlaps that, there's this much space between that other one. That's, you know, analogic, seeing likenesses. No sense of time. Completely without sense of time. And if you notice when you do art, all of a sudden, time just flies. And it's like, wow, I've been here 3 hours? I didn't know that. That's why. Non-rational thinking, you know, just not requiring a basis for reason or fact, saying, I just got a feeling. I have a feeling this is going to be a good day. And that's a right brain thing. Seeing spatial relationships, depth, that's all on the right side. Being intuitive and having great leaps of insight. This would be your genius. This is all the genius stuff right there. And holistic, being able to see the big picture. And somebody says, can you see the big picture, not just the parts? You see all the parts and see how it's going to form like a puzzle. So those are all the good things. And this is where all the creativity is hiding, because it's already there. And that's what's interesting about your brain, is that when you're born, the two sides are not that separated. They kind of work together a lot. But the left side's more like a blank slate, waiting for you to write stuff on it. So when you start learning to talk verbal, it gets written on there. The right side is not like that, though. The right side is pre-programmed for all this stuff already. It's pre-programmed for drawing. That's why, people say, well, that person never drew anything in their whole life, and then all of a sudden they could draw like, Rembrandt. That's because they tapped the right side somehow. They went over and it's there. Same with music, is over there too. And so the left side has to be taught in stages. And when I used to teach school, I'd say, the reason you have to go to school every year, it's all left side's fault. Because you don't know at what stage you're going to learn something. And left side is perfectionist. If it can't learn it perfectly, the right side has to take over and learn it for you. And it'll never be perfect. Left side, it'll be perfect. So I apparently missed spelling because I was sick a lot. And so my spelling leaves a little bit to be desired, but that's a left-sided thing. So as the years go on, the left side, you're writing one thing after another on it as the teachers are teaching you, and that's why they repeat stuff and overlap things, because they're not sure. I mean, this week may be the week I'm supposed to learn to spell. And next week, it may be Stephanie, her brain's ready to learn how to spell. So they don't know when. So we have to keep going and writing on that side. But the more you write on the left side, the stronger and more dominant it becomes, and the less it wants to give up any time to the right. So people usually that are very left-sided say, well, I have crazy dreams, but that's about it. Crazy dreams are your right side coming on at night, saying, whew, I gotta have some time here, And so it comes on, and you may have crazy dreams, or you might have dreams, any dreams, or you might daydream. So our goal to get to the creativity side is to turn off the left side. Now, the left side does not like this, and will protest, okay, verbally. We'll say, I can't do this. And that's right. It can't, because it's still on the left side. But if it stops talking and just does, lets the right side come on, you'd be amazed at what you can do. I mean, I've had people that said, I never do anything in my life. How do I do that? I said, well, you turned off the left side finally, because it's already there. And the left side is sitting here right now probably going, oh, I don't believe that for a minute. But it is there. The left side doesn't want you to know. Okay, so we're going to overcome your left and try to overcome the dominance, because the more you work at, like talking, and you're at work and you're doing paperwork and you're keeping track of time, and you gotta, I got a meeting in 5 minutes and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. That's all the left brain, and making it stronger all the time. So we're gonna do some practice things to shift over. And I've actually had people that almost said it was painful because the left side did not want to give up. So, all right. Right brain exercises. If you do these little exercises, and they're real easy. I mean, I've had kindergartners do them. They're very easy, but if you do them before you want to do something creative, or you're trying to come up with some sort of creative solution to something, and you just sit and do these little doodly things, The more you do it, the more access you get. And, you know, kids would always say, you know, how come you can talk and then I could turn and I could draw something on the board? So because if you notice, as soon as I stop talking, I start drawing. And as soon as I start talking again, I have to stop drawing. And they said, well, you know, why can't you just draw and talk at the same time? I said, because you can't. It doesn't work. I mean, you'll start to, and then as soon as you start talking, you'll start messing it up. I said, as soon as the left side comes back on, it doesn't know what it's doing, you know, with the drawing. So it just goes, oh, see, you can't do it. All right, so here we go. The first one is called Vases and Faces. See the vase in the middle and then the two faces facing each other. This is the left side of your brain, and this is the right side, looking at each other. So, this is what you're going to do. There's some paper, little small papers right here on the table. If you grab those and a marker, and your left side's going to hate the fact that we're using marker, because the left side, I think, is what invented erasers. And it will hate it. So if you're right-handed, you're going to draw a little profile on the left side of your paper. A little profile. Here's a forehead, there's a nose, there's lips, there's a chin, and then come down. Then you're going to draw a line across and another line across. Okay, so do that. Now, anybody left-handed? No lefties? Okay. Okay, so this is what you should have. Something similar. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, draw a line across the top and one across the bottom. Okay, now the left side of your brain pretty much did that. It didn't like doing it, but it did it because it could identify. Okay, well that's a nose, that's a mouth, that's a chin. If it can identify things, it's happier. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to redraw this exact same one facing it. Okay, so the noses will be pointing towards each other, the chin, and then when you end up at the corner, it'll make a vase, and it'll also be two faces facing each other. Let's see if I think I did. Yep. Yep, come back. I want them both. Okay, like that. And a lot of times the left side, when it comes back on, it'll flip this nose going that way. Or flip the lips. And it also likes to put way a long distance between the two of them. So now turn your paper over, get a new one, and try that again. Yeah, these are permanent markers that may just go right through. And this time, don't pull them apart so far. Make this line here not go for miles, so the noses are a little closer together. Not bad. Keep going.
My nose is closer together.
Yeah, get your noses a little closer together. See, the left side messed with you, didn't it? Mirror images, the left side can't deal with. See, now I can give this exact exercise to a kindergartner or a first grader. They whip it off in a couple seconds and it's perfect.
Seriously?
Because they have no dominance, left side dominance yet. The dominance gets built up as school goes on. So the more you practice the little vases and faces, the more you're shifting back and forth. And the goal you want to get if you want to be able to access your creativity whenever you want to, is to be able to shift back and forth in less than, it's less than a second for me because I've been doing this for so long. But, first it'll take a long time. And after a while you can just go zip, zip, done. And do a couple of those and you're in the right frame of mind, then you can move on and do some creative problem solving. All right, so that's one exercise. Now the little monster faces, some people find this one a lot easier because there's, a lot of times you think less information makes something easier. It does not, especially in drawing. Like if you're trying to draw a cartoon, you're looking at somebody else's cartoon drawing and you find it's really hard to replicate because there's not much information there. And if you get anything off just a little bit, it throws the whole thing off. So if there's more information, it's usually harder for your left side to stay on. And it gives up quicker. So try this one if you want. Same, you start on the left, draw yourself a nice little monster face. You can make it however, doesn't have to have a beard like this one. Draw yourself a nice little monster face and draw the lines across and then have it facing itself. So easier or harder?
Same.
Same. Okay. All these exercises are from a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. And there's more than this. There's lots more than this. But these are the only ones I'm going to give you for this part. So now we're going to move on to more creativity. Okay. We're going to talk about Zentangles for a little bit. Some of you know what Zentangles are. Anybody know? Zentangle? Okay, well, there's the definition. It's an abstract work of art, and you use patterns, and it's only in black and white. Abstract art is very right brain art, and that's why very left-sided people usually do not like it, because they can't appreciate it for what it is. Zentangles is kind of a makes your left side happy because it's patterns, but at the same time, it turns into an abstract. And the more you do the Zentangles, the more creativity you build because the left side gives up because it thinks it's not giving up. It's a trick. Okay. Because when you're creating these complex patterns, you're going to have to use the right side of your brain, and the left side turns off. So, like, you know, when I first start doing Zentangles, if you make a list, think of all the patterns you can think of. Name a pattern.
Plaid.
Plaid, okay. Stripes.
Yeah.
Polka dots. That's usually checkerboard.
Oh.
Those are all, you know, the left side usually comes up with those pretty quick. But then when you get to more complex ones, where like plaid's actually fairly complex, because there's actually a complex patterning to plaid. So anyway, the more you make the patterns complex, the more your brain has to shift over. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making some nice complex patterns. See how creative this is? From if you start with this kind of thing, you're just doing different patterns. And these look, you know, your left side's probably going, whoa, you know, look at that. Okay, this is just, you know, starting off simple with, like, you know, checkerboard, and then keep adding to it. And the more you add to it, the more creative you get. So, you know, usually, you know, your left side will zip through these little extra patterns by, you know, here, polka dots on that one, stripes on that one. Here's some ziggy lines. Okay, then, you know, but then if you go back and say, okay, well, now fill in some of these parts and make it more complex than just simple, you know, line patterns. And then if you want to use it inside of another shape and fill up the shape with all these different patterns, then it's even more complex. Okay, so here's your exercise. Okay, first you can write yourself a nice little list, and you can use anything to write it on, any of those papers. There's a lot of little ones. See if you can come up with 12 patterns. That's the hardest thing for the left side to do, because after you get past stripes, zigzag lines, polka dots, and checkerboard, then you have to use your brain a little harder and think of some other ones like cow print or, you know, plaid. She came up with
I don't
plaid.
even know what that is.
A cow print.
Oh, okay.
See, and Stephanie has a very complex design on her shirt of little rectangles.
What would you call that?
That's a random
Geometry. Geometrics.
Yeah, geometric design. So yeah, so you can write a nice little list, and this makes the left side happy because it says, okay, I can do this. I can write. Okay, and then you're going to divide up your paper into 12 little sections, and using the felt tip pen, fill each section with a different pattern. Okay, and then I have some shapes where you can draw a shape on another piece of paper and divide it into sections. See, I have some butterfly shapes, and your left side loves these templates because then it doesn't have to draw. But then you have to divide this up into, that's a fish, divide it up into different sections and fill it with Zentangles like that frog was. So there's different ones, or draw your own. It could be just a circle too. And here's bigger paper right here too. Okay, and so the last thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a shape, whatever shape you want. Divide it into sections. You're going to fill each section with a pattern like that frog was. And then that will be the end. Come on. Okay. So thank you for coming.
We're still using the marker?
Yes, you're still using it. So while you're working and finishing off all your exercises, I hope you enjoyed this. And please come next month. We're doing silver point a metal point drawing, and that should be interesting. Okay, thank you very much.